Now that we have a clear understanding about the differences between vector-based artwork and bitmap-based artwork, we can begin talking about another fundamental concept inside of Illustrator called paths. Paths are critically important to understand because all of your artwork inside of Illustrator will be based on paths. I'm working with a document called paths.ai, which is available inside the Chapter 1 folder. You'll notice that I have the Direct Selection tool highlighted. The Direct Selection tool is the white arrow tool located in the top right-hand corner of the Tools panel. So what we have here are 4 different paths. Up here towards the top, we have 2 open paths because they don't create a shape. Then down below, we have 2 closed paths because they do create shapes. So what we want to take a look at are how these paths are created. If we take a look at the straight line up here in the top left-hand corner, this straight diagonal line, I suppose, you'll notice that it consists of 2 anchor points, and you can mouse over the ends of the line to see those anchor points. Additionally, Illustrator will tell you its precise XY coordinate. So we have an anchor point here, and then we have an anchor point up here towards the top. Now, if you go ahead and click on this anchor point, you'll select it. When you select it, in this case, it becomes highlighted. Now, what we have here is something called a corner anchor point. It's a corner anchor point because it draws a straight line from the center of the anchor point to its destination, which is this anchor point. If we take a look at this curved line, it too has 2 anchor points. The difference is, however, when you click on this anchor point, we have this control arm that appears. This control arm dictates the direction of the path from that anchor point. This anchor point, however, is referred to as a smooth anchor point because you have the ability now to create smooth paths. So these are the 2 open paths. What about these 2 closed paths down here towards the bottom? Well, the rectangle consists of 4 corner points. If you click in the corner, you'll see the anchor point, and it simply draws a straight line from this anchor point to this anchor point. And it continues to do that until you have a closed path, which results in this rectangle. Believe it or not, this oval also contains 4 anchor points. However, the 4 anchor points used in this shape are smooth anchor points because we're controlling the direction and creating arcs between one anchor point to the other. So it's a fairly straightforward concept if you want to think about paths and how they work. But ultimately, what you need to take away from this movie is that there's 2 types of paths. There's open paths and closed paths, which are somewhat self-explanatory. But then there's also 2 different behaviors when it comes to anchor points. We have corner anchor points, which draws straight lines from the center of the anchor point. And then we have smooth anchor points. And the key with the smooth anchor point is it has a control arm. And that control arm will ultimately control the direction of the path.